us today and sharing your insight throughout our news. Now we move on to our next news. Amid the conundrum over Russia-Ukraine war, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Moscow hopes for more peace talks with Ukraine, but that the momentum of the war was in its favor. This signals no shift in his stance despite a looming sanctions deadline from Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he will impose new sanctions on Moscow and countries that buy its energy exports. In this list, China and India are the biggest buyers. Reacting on Russia's latest attack on Ukraine, United States President expressed his mounting frustration with Putin. Meanwhile, President Putin, without referring to the Trump deadline, said 3 sessions of peace talks with Ukraine had yielded some positive results, and Russia was expecting negotiations to continue. The Ukrainian government has said that the Russian negotiators do not have the mandate to take significant decisions, and President Volodymyr Zelensky has called out on Putin to meet him for talks, while Russia says a leaders' meetings could only take place to set the seal on agreements reached by negotiators. Now we're joined by Dr. Vipul Saxena. He's a defense expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you, Dr. Vipul, for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, with new U.S. sanctions looming, how might Russia's continued reliance on energy exports to countries like China and India influence the effectiveness of these sanctions?
So I think the way Trump administration and Trump personally is conducting, the diplomacy and the foreign relations and the trade deals, I think they have exposed themselves that they have no, permanent stand. They are behaving like a trader who is ready to do any kind of negotiation for their benefit. And in that scenario, they have lost almost trust of every country that today the Trump administration may say this, tomorrow they may turn around and say, no, this is not right, I will do like this. So in such situation, the threat which used to be there earlier from the United States, I think it has lost the ground, and no country is taking Trump administration or their any kind of threat of sanctions and all seriously. So I don't see any kind of threat from Russian energy to Asia or China and all that. I don't think any threat to this kind of deal because of Trump's sanction threats.
Thank you, Dr. Vipul.
As far as Ukraine talks are concerned, I think what Putin is saying is right, that normally the transactions and deals initially are discussed at diplomatic level, at bureaucratic level, and once there is the terms conditions agreeable to both the sides, then only the leaders meet to sign off the agreement.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Vipul, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you as we stay in this region now. In his latest comments, President Putin emphasized that the West's sole focus is to halt Russia's military progress at all costs. He stated that the situation on the ground is clear, with Chasiv Yar having been secured by Russian forces days ago. President Putin confirmed that Russian troops are advancing along the entire front line in Ukraine. He also revealed that the new Oreshnik missile system has entered mass production, with the first batch now delivered to Russian troops. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Dr. Vipul Saxena. He's a defense expert. Thank you, Dr. Vipul, for staying with us. Dr. Vipul, can you tell us more about Russia's defense missile system, Oreshnik?
See, Russia has been, one of the leaders, global leader when it comes to missile system or anti-missile defense system. It has been one of the top leaders, and their systems are very, very effective and very, very aggressive. So in that scenario, I go with the Russians' claim. And what Putin has said is that European nations are basically trying to, downturn the Russian military system on Russian attacks or Russian military actions. I think that is true. I would say that it is time that Zelensky, as a national leader of Ukraine, has to think on a long term, because whatever aid is coming from US or from the European nations. It is not coming free. They will definitely ask for their chunk of flesh, and that will be too costly for economy of the Ukraine for a very long term, because all these countries they are basically eyeing for the rare earth deposits that Ukraine has in large quantities. So it is not that you're doing a favor or they're doing a charity. So I think time has come where Zelensky must think practically, pragmatically in the interest of Ukraine and try to settle some kind of deal with Russia as early as possible.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Vipul Saxena, for joining us today and sharing your insight as a defense expert. Well, that's all we have time for. We will continue to bring more news